So what does the art of the motorcycle mean to you? What do you think of when you hear those words? Does it remind you of the Art of the Motorcycle exhibit at the Guggenheim Museum that, although wildly successful, was now 27 years ago? Is it a phrase that a friend has told you who's trying to convince you to enjoy motorcycles like they do? The motorcycle is an artistic medium in its own right, but that doesn't go far enough for me. To truly understand a work of art, you need to understand the artist. So in this episode of Ideations, I'm pleased to bring an incredible conversation with my friend and motorcycle design icon, JT Nesbitt. JT first came on the motorcycle scene just before the turn of the millennium with the wildly famous and successful Hellcat G2. When Tom Cruise starts riding around on one of your motorcycles, people tend to take notice. I first met JT stopping by his studio in New Orleans. We were introduced by some friends, and what was supposed to be a meet and greet for, an hour or so turned into 4 days, riding vintage bikes through the French Quarter and poring over this. The design brief and the plans for the Magnolia 4, the first American inline 4 motorcycle in 83 years. Quite an undertaking. So if you're anything like me, not only is that an incredible endeavor, and when you see this for yourself, the design language, it's unlike anything. I obviously put a deposit down for one. I really wanted to understand what makes a person like that tick. What is unique and distinct about JT's interpretation of the motorcycle, and why does that resonate with me so much? So I asked JT to come out and join us in Raleigh for a conversation, and I'm really excited to share this with you. But for the last quarter century, JT has been building an artistic form and his interpretation of the American motorcycle as an artistic medium. In this episode of Ideations, you're going to join us for a conversation that spans the gambit of his career, starting and being grounded in his foundation in fine arts. We cover a lot of really interesting topics, from his early education to really what are the key challenges. Why are things stagnant in the world of motorcycling today? Why hasn't there been an inline 4 in 83 years? And why has nobody designed their own engine from the ground up? Those pioneering, innovative, disruptive approaches to the motorcycle is really what I hope you can take away from this conversation, as I did with JT Nesbitt. So welcome to Ideations, the art of motorcycle design with JT Nesbitt. JT, welcome to The Bend, one of my favorite new spots in Raleigh. And what a great way to introduce you to Raleigh, North Carolina, on the back of a couple of cool motorcycles today. Why don't we start with a little bit of your history and your background?
Well, thanks for having me. I am a fine arts major who really struggled in school to merge two sort of different disciplines. And that's what I've been working on basically for my whole life ever since. The intersection of art and motorcycle design is pretty much what I've dedicated my entire life to.
What is it about the motorcycle?
There's something about a motorcycle that's just so human and accessible. And I think the really great motorcycles wear their guts on the outside. So you can actually relate to and understand what's going on with them mechanically in a way that you really can't with a car. So a car is shrouded in styling and mystery, whereas a motorcycle is honest. You can't fake it with a motorcycle. So designing my own engine is sort of the ultimate outcome of this lifetime of training to prepare me for the last great adventure in motorcycle design. And that's designing your own engine. It's been a lot of very deep thought about what is the engine and where do you even go with it, right? What's possible? And because I'm an American motorcyclist, that limits my options. So in American motorcycling, there's only singles for transportation and lightweight competition. The V-twin, which is the general purpose motorcycle for competition, but also touring and pretty much a do-it-all formula. And then at the pinnacle is the American four-cylinder. And for some reason that I can't get my head around, no one has built an American inline four-cylinder engine in 83 years.
It's interesting this engine layout has been left behind because it is so distinctly and uniquely American in the history of the American motorcycle. Why now? Why you? Mm-hmm.
I think it's a poverty of the imagination.
Oof.
I think that people just don't know the history
Yeah.
of their passion.
I love what you said about how people may not even know the history of the motorcycle, but you've committed a lifetime to this craft. So tell us about who are some of your heroes? Where do you find inspiration from before we even get to the American piece of the inline four?
Certainly top of the list is William Henderson.
Okay.
So William Henderson is really the guy who took the formula of an American four-cylinder to the next level. The people that were around him, the people that he mentored, they went off to create more designs, but they all pretty much are based on his teachings, his philosophy. Mm-hmm. Now, before William Henderson, there was a guy named Percy Pierce. And the very first American four-cylinder came out in 1909. Percy Pierce was the son of the Pierce automobile manufacturer. And the Pierces are wonderful things, very clever, really interesting motorcycles, very beautiful in their own, like, pre-teens way. But as we move through history, certainly Phil Irving, the designer of the Vincent motorcycle. The Vincent is one of the most proportionate and beautiful machines ever created. The man responsible for that work, Phil Irving, has done a lot of other interesting things. And I'm a big fan of this book, by the way. If you're looking for a really good read about motorcycle design and engineering, Phil Irving's book.
What's it called?
It's called Motorcycle Engineering.
Okay.
Yeah. Continuing on with the motorcycle guys, of course, John Britton.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's a lot of myth around what he did, but the overarching truth is that John Britton built his own machine in his own time and in his own way and didn't ask for permission from anyone. He designed from first principles. He was a genius when it came to motorcycle design, mm-hmm. the way his brain worked. Certainly, I'm a big fan of cars, and the work of Horacio Pagani is so artful. The work of Gordon Murray is so perfect. The work of Christian Koenigsegg is so free to engineer in new and interesting ways. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good start for
And
him.
where does Bugatti fit in your...
Ettore Bugatti may be the greatest inventor of a culture around his machines.
Oh, interesting.
Ettore Bugatti didn't just build amazing automobiles. He built an entire way of thinking about automobiles, thinking about them as art, and not selling them to the highest bidder, selling them to the people that he thought would be the right fit for his art. The greatest quote by any car or motorcycle designer is a quote by Ettore Bugatti. The quote is, "There is nothing that is too expensive, nothing that is too beautiful."
So beauty is priceless.
Correct. Ettore Bugatti was interested in being able to sustain his art form. That's what his motivation was. And the value of his cars wasn't, again, a crass marketing exercise. Mm-hmm. The value of his cars is organic because of the conditions under which they were made.
Yeah.
the love that was put into them. Do you like watches?
Love
Do
watches.
you like wristwatches?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, a wristwatch needs basically three things to be a successful design.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be accurate.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be built to last for generations, because a mechanical wristwatch is in fact an heirloom.
Mm-hmm.
And that third thing is that it has to be beautiful. Now, if we consider the engine of a car or a motorcycle to be much like a mechanical wristwatch, in my lifetime, I can't think of any motorcycle engine that satisfied that third category, that beauty category. I think that you and I are surrounded by engines, internal combustion engines, that have sacrificed beauty on the altar of performance. They're missing something. Something's not right with them. What would you rather have? Would you rather have an engine that looks beautiful or makes 3 more horsepower?
This question, and it's something that we've been talking about. Definitely the beauty, because you've heard the quote, people say the best motorcycle for you is the one you can't stop looking back at when you park it, right? And for as much as I work on riding and do track days, I cannot even come close to approaching the performance of modern motorcycles. They're fun and they're exciting, but it's as exhilarating and invigorating to be on something just relaxing, enjoying the being in nature, enjoying being in motion. And so I think this is a key fundamental aspect of motorcycle riding that I think gets completely underscoped.
It's what the supercar guys are figuring out.
Yeah.
Is that you don't need 1,000 horsepower and a flappy paddle shift on your car to set a lap time. It's like you're not.
I prefer to drive a manual, even though I'm slower than using.
You're not a race car driver. What you want is you want to connect with your machine. That's what's important. That connection.
And for me, there's no other machine that has that level of connection than a motorcycle. There's something unique and distinct about the motorcycle.
You're absolutely right. A car doesn't do it. Now, you can have wonderful experiences in cars.
For sure. Yeah.
But they don't put you in the same place. They don't give you the same sensation of speed. It's not about actual speed.
Yeah.
It's about the sensation of movement. And nothing can do that better than a motorcycle. And you know why? It's about corners. It's about the way you go around in a corner.
Okay, interesting.
Right? As bipedal creatures, when we go into a corner, we lean.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And a motorcycle tires are round, of course, because the bike is designed to lean. It's a very natural, organic thing that we do with no coaching or training, the counter steer.
Yeah.
It's something about the intersection of brachiation and bipedalism. It's programmed into our DNA.
I love when people talk about the relationship that they develop with their motorcycles, and whether it's a male or a female, and whether they name them or whatever. I can't think of anything else that I'm fortunate enough to enjoy, watches or cars, things that can really tap into your soul in a certain way. It feels like, I think I was telling you, some of the bikes we were talking about feel almost telepathic in their communication with me.
It's an extension of your consciousness.
I 100% agree, and it's what I've found. It's why I found a renewed passion for motorcycles at this stage in my life, is because I almost find it meditative in a way, like an active form of meditation. It doesn't matter what is bothering me during the day, or what is happening at work, or personal dynamics, or things that there's no space in my mind for those things to take up space when I'm out riding a motorcycle. And in particular for me, the track piece is what even takes that to another level, right?
Just riding motorcycles and doing track days and using it as a piece of fashion, and using it as a way to find other people who you may have a connection with isn't truly mining for the truth. The only way to really get to the kernel of truth of what they represent is to design them from scratch, so that you know and understand every system.
We've mentioned a couple of times, and I really want to go back to this. We talked about it with Vincent. We talked about it with Bugatti and with Britain. First principles, and I know you talk about this a lot in your design language, your approach to this motorcycle. Explain first principles, and then let's use that as the foundation to talk about the innovation that you're designing.
Designing from first principles means you don't just take somebody else's successful system. You need to understand what the problem is fully first. And then whatever solution comes out for the problem that you're trying to solve, it may be very similar to work that people have done in the past. But at least you're not taking that work for granted. Design from first principles means that you analyze the problem first and then think long and hard about whether the system that other people have come up with is good or not. What are the problems that you're trying to solve for? And then design from first principles.
And going back to first principles means you don't just take what is currently off the shelf, plug and play. It's solving for a specific mandate, right? Or a mission statement around.
Yeah, well, what's the difference between a great artist and a great mechanic? Do you know? The place in their brain is the same. The way they think is the same. The way a great artist and a great mechanic think is the same exact thought patterns. The difference is that the artist comes up with his own problem to solve, and the mechanic already has his problems laid out for him.
Oh, that's fascinating. Okay, so what is that thought process then? What is that similarity? It's problem solving?
Problem solving.
It's problem solving. So an artist
creates their own problem to solve.
Oh, I think that's fascinating.
But they're the same. Yeah. It's the same method of thought. Yeah.
Well, and then success also correlates to their ability to bring something into the world that otherwise wasn't there previously. A new work, a new piece, right? We talked a lot about the American Inline 4, and it's been 83 years, but you're bringing one to life right now. Tell me the design brief for the Magnolia 4. Where did this start?
Well, the design brief is the right way to put it because it starts with writing. I've had these ideas floating around in my head for the past 25 some odd years, maybe 30 years. But those ideas don't mean anything until they're manifest. And the way I manifest them is by writing them down. That's why a design brief is so important. It's a document that confuses a lot of people because it's more of an internal document. The design brief is a document that you create to assure that your production team understands the vision for design. It's not a business plan. It's not a brochure. It's not a piece of marketing. It's mainly internal, what I'm making and why. But that's what separates the professionals from the non-professionals, from the hobbyists. Is the guys who take the time to write it down. It's so important.
It feels to me like you've been looking at this lack of an American Inline 4 for 25 years, 30 years.
And thinking about it and writing about it.
And writing about it. So how did you approach then starting to put pen to paper for this process? Like where does one even start saying we're going to have a blank sheet of paper and we need to bring in the greatest American motorcycle in history to market?
I've got a lot of sketches, just gesture sketches, right? Then I started doing a little more detailed scale technical drawings. And then I decided that it was time for me to do my own thing. And when I made that decision 2 years ago, I hired Jeff Sperry, who's one of the greatest SolidWorks operators I've ever met. I mean, he might be the greatest engine designer in the world. And we worked together side by side. I moved him to New Orleans, and we worked for 1 year and 3 months on this engine. Of course, everything else too. But making a solid model that's a real thing, not just pencil and paper. So the engine is It's not a joke. It's not a concept. It's more like it lives somewhere between a prototype and a first test.
Now with the design brief evolving over this time, you're thinking about the problems that you're solving. How would you distill what the philosophy is behind the Magnolia 4?
At the dawn of the machine age, there were some very successful ideas. Now that we're fully into the 21st century, we have the ability to take those original ideas and set them free to evolve in new and interesting ways. It's never been a better time to do it. It's never been a better time to make things. But because now it's so easy to make things, we need to be more careful than ever when we decide what to make. Making things that will last on multi-generational timescales.
An heirloom.
An heirloom that will be a snapshot of what our culture is, right? I'm a fine arts major, which means I have a lot of training in art history.
Mm-hmm.
And art history is the story of human history. What do we know about the ancient Egyptians? Well, everything that we know about those people and their culture comes from the things that they made, their art. Making things that represent the best of us is so important. Making things that will last means actively preserving the conscience of a civilization that's losing its way. Our society has become disposable. So what am I solving with the Magnolia 4? I'm building something that will last forever as a testament to what was possible in the first quarter of the 21st century. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Why am I in Raleigh, North Carolina? What is this? What am I doing here?
So I love it. And again, thank you for being here. I think it's an evolution of a few things that are happening in real time. So I'm at a point in my life where I'm fortunate and able to indulge my hobbies and enthusiasms at a different level than I was able to previously. And no matter how hard I try, I'm always brought back to the motorcycle. That becomes the sort of foundation, the thing that gets me excited and gets me inspired. That's afforded me the ability to meet people like yourself, JT. And I think the best way to explain this is the conversation that we had in the first day that we met in your studio in New Orleans. And after spending several hours together and me sharing my enthusiasm in the way that I do, being, talking about all the things that we're doing in the Art Moto Festival and the Art Moto Garage and all the stuff in the collection I'm trying to build. I remember you said to me, JT, so you seem a little lost. And I was fascinated by that comment and really thought about it and spent that night thinking about it and I remember I came back to you the next day and said, you're right, but I'm not lost. I'm supposed to be. I want to be out. I need to be out in the world exploring. And fundamentally, I think this is what my purpose is and what I'm trying to do is go out to these new frontiers, go out to these fringe, go back in time, go forward in time, go regionally all over the place and take on this explorer's role to find somebody like yourself and then be fortunate to have the opportunity to share that with other people and allow people to come into this story. I believe you are building the most important, historically important modern American motorcycle, full stop. And shame on us if people don't get to hear about that in the work that you're doing, JT. And so to have it work out that you could come and join me in my town and ride some motorcycles together, I couldn't think of anything I'd rather be doing with my time. So JT, on that note, let's get back out on the road.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here, my friend. This was amazing.
doubts and fears and things misplaced. Just beyond the darkened gates, the hardest paths away